Well, hello Nunavik, and thank you so much for tuning in. Man, I am so excited to come here and do all kinds of really cool magic for you. We're going to be talking about anti-bullying and suicide awareness, and I want to thank the Kativik Regional Police Force for being one of our chief sponsors for this series of videos. I know you're going to love them, and I want you to give a big shout out to them too. Thanks a lot. Hi everybody, my name is Brian Glow. I'm an illusionist and a magician. I've been able to travel around the world. But when I was a kid, I was afraid all the time. I was being bullied from grade 5 to grade 12, and it was some of the scariest times of my entire life. I was hurt many times. I felt bad about things all the time, and I lost my 3 best friends who died of suicide because of those same bullies. Now I'm going to show you some really fun magic illusions, and we're going to talk about bullying and things you might be able to do about it. And hopefully some of you guys who are picking on some kids, maybe you'll get a lesson of how you should stop too. Hi everybody, I'm going to show you some really fun little magic. And it's something you can do with ordinary objects that you can find anywhere at a restaurant or at your house. For instance, you could use a table knife and a napkin. And you got to take the handkerchief and you want to lay it out like that. You're going to take your knife, show them your knife, and maybe you might want to tell them, oh, you know, you're at a problem you have at a restaurant. They didn't give you enough cutlery. All they gave you was a knife. Well, to remedy that, of course, you're a magician, so all you have to do is wave your hands over the knife, just like that, and the magic happens. When you pull it, the knife has changed into a fork. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this. This is really a lot of fun. I cheat. I know, it's not real magic, sorry. What you do is you have both a knife and a fork, as well as your napkin. Now you set this up by having the fork on the table ahead of time without the people knowing it. You've covered it up with a napkin, just kind of lay it down, and then it's kind of obvious. They don't know that the fork is there. So what you're going to do is secretly, as you pick up the knife and they're watching the knife, you're going to grab the cloth napkin or a paper napkin and the fork or spoon, and you're just going to lift it up like that. Now, look at the knife. Don't look down, because if you're looking down, they're going to look down. So you'll notice that when I picked it up, all I did is I just grabbed it like that, like it was nothing, like there's nothing there. When I put this down and made a big deal of throwing the napkin out, all I'm doing is placing the fork flat this way. So I throw it out, and as I bring the cloth back, I'm going to cover the fork in that position. And it's going to be in a diamond shape. Now, you're going to place the knife in front or in back, doesn't matter, of the other piece of cutlery. So, if the cloth is here, and you take your knife, when you are turning the cloth over, you're actually taking both the fork and the knife and turning them over. And then you're doing it again and again until this corner ends up here and this corner ends up here. They're going to flip over. And when they flip over, like that, you now just have to take the 2 ends and pull. And it looks like your knife is turned into another piece of cutlery like the fork. Now in real speed, it just looks like this. And you wave your hands and go bang, and there it's changed. Now to clean this up, as you are taking the handkerchief, you carefully just grab the fork or whatever other cutlery is underneath and pull that away and show them that it's changed. It's amazing. Almost everyone I know has a cell phone. It's so powerful, it's actually a miniature computer. And of course with the internet, that means we're connected throughout the entire world. The cell phone is one of the most empowering devices that you've got, but it can also be one of the most hurtful devices. People don't realize that the telephone, the cell phone, the mobile phone actually has more computing power than it took to get the Saturn V rocket all the way to the moon. That's how much is in this little device. They used to take rooms full of computers, and now just a phone. So phones can be used to help people, can be used to harm people. One of the worst things that we've got happening right now is cyberbullying. People going online, using social media, using posts and texts to actually hurt people for no reason whatsoever except to cause them pain. This is one of the worst things that we can possibly do because it's instant and it's forever. I tell you right now, if someone ever sends you a text, or if someone starts talking to you on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or any kind of the social medias, and they start hammering you with cyberbullying, and that means repeatedly really offensive material, pictures, bad things that you may or may not have even done, don't erase them. Keep them, because that's going to be used as evidence against the person who posted it. Everyone thinks that, oh, it just disappears, but the internet is forever. And that means the information contained on that post is going to be something that you can use against them in the event that it does go to trial. Well, we're going to try something really amazing using a cell phone. It's kind of fun because it's got one of my favorite devices, a balloon. A balloon, impermeable, being able to hold air. A telephone, a mobile phone, something that you would think couldn't possibly join together. But watch. Crazy. But the only way you can get it out Hi, I'm Brian Glow, and I'm going to show you an amazing illusion with money. Everybody loves money because we all want it. Well, the truth is, money, at least the concept of hard currency, came from China, as did paper. Paper making was invented in China. And one of the things that they would do, the masters would do, is they would take the paper and they would make a little paper wallet for their money. They'd seal it in very carefully, just like the Japanese origami folds. The Chinese had a similar kind of art form. And they would seal the money inside the packages. Now, the problem is, every once in a while you'd get a robber or someone like that who wanted their money also. So if you were a Chinese magician, you could do this. You'd cast a spell over the paper, and then you could show that you had no money, that all there was paper. And when the robber took off because he got nothing from you, the magician would carefully take the pieces of paper and then just squeeze them together to get his money back. Now that's magic. Well, you're in for a treat, because I'm going to show you one of my personal favorite magic illusions, and I use this all the time. I probably used it yesterday, in fact, show someone a little bit of magic. And you just have to have a piece of paper. It could be a gum wrapper, or it could be a piece of scrap paper, anything, just a little piece, and a coin. And it could be any coin, a penny, a nickel, a dime, a loonie, a toonie, anything that will fit. You're going to take the coin and place it on the paper. And when you fold the paper up, you're not going all the way to the end. You're going just shy. You're going to leave a little bit of what we call a lip. But they don't see that because you're holding it this way. And I'm pressing it so you see the impression of the coin if you look really carefully. I'm going to flip this top part down around the coin, and I'm going to flip this part up around the coin. This top part I'm going to flip down, but you'll notice that this is where the line was where we folded the first time. So when we fold it over, we're only folding the outside piece, not the inside piece. And what that does is give us a little pocket. Now they don't know about that. They see this being sealed in, and you're turning it around to show them the coin inside the paper. What you're doing is you're positioning the pocket downwards. So when you hold the piece of paper like this, and just for a moment extend your fingers out, that allows the coin to drop into your hand as you're showing it. Now the coin is in your hand, but they don't know it because they see the outline of the coin in the paper. And when you're telling your story about being robbed, you take the two pieces and you just rip the paper down, rip it again, drop the pieces. Now remember, you're still holding the coin in your fingers. You're not doing anything special, just your little finger is holding it. And you pick up the pieces of paper again and put them all together, and you're positioning the pieces of paper directly in front of your coin that you're holding with your fingers. So when you press the paper and let your hand down, the coin is just going to simply fall down. You're not going to open your fingers, you're just going to loosen it just enough that when you squeeze, it looks like it came from the papers. And that's the illusion. You know, my brother Sheldon's a dentist, and one of the things that he always recommends to me is that I have to floss. Of course, I'm on the road so much that I always end up with all these little tiny pieces. And what it does, though, is it reminds me that all these little pieces are like moments in my life. I remember when my kids were born. I remember when I got married. I remember the birthdays. But I also remember when my father passed away, and when my three very, very best friends died of suicide. It was one of the most traumatic times of my entire life, and I thought that nothing could ever be the same again. But I keep thinking about those times, and I remember that they're all connected. All these little moments in our lives, they're all just part of one continuous lifetime. And as we see that they all get jumbled together in our minds, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad. And these little pieces, sometimes they get stuck in our minds. And we have to remember that all of our memories are one part of our entire lifetime, and that they should be enjoyed as long as we can. The world of magic is filled with puzzles and amazing things that you can do. Some people call them cons and scams, but magicians call them puzzles. And I'm going to show you one of those puzzles that you can have some fun with your friends. Maybe you want to win a chocolate bar by having them do what you do. see if they can follow you. That means you have to turn 2 cups 3 times to get all of the cups to have bottoms up. Are you ready? Here it goes. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there you go. All the bottoms are up. Now, you challenge them to do it. Which ones would you like to do? Now, when I did it, I did these 2, and these 2. But wait, that's not bottoms up. They lose. So what is the secret? The secret is the order gets reversed during the puzzle. Well, what does that mean? Well, you start with the middle cup bottom up, and the other 2 face up. You're going to take cup 2 and 3 on my side, and then 1 and 3, and then 2 and 3. So you turn them over, then you do the outside ones, you turn them over, and then once again you turn them over. Now, when it's the other person's turn, you only move that cup up. They forget that when we started, you started that way. But when they're starting this way. It can't work. It's impossible. Because if you do it once, twice, 3 times, you end up with the mouths up. But guess what? If you turn this down and say, no, you missed it, I'll do it one more time for you. And this time you can get really fancy. You can cross your hands, and then just turn these over and have them do it again. That'll really blow them away, because with the crossing of the hand, they'll be so confused they'll go running home to mama.